the things I intended to do today, but just didn't have the energy to do, was to do some science mining off screen. So we're going to have to do that now to start off the stream. But first we're going to load this up, and we're going to rebuild this. Okay. The runway is just too goddamn rough. Ironically, the grasslands around the Space Center are hard and smooth, so it's actually safer to take off and land from that. Alright, here we go. Okay, for some reason it's not stable. There's some tiny little imbalance that causes it to tip over before I could get it into the air. Okay, recover vessel. We'll try flying that one more time. Yeah, it's just not flyable. Alright, I just wanted to make a test of that to see if I could get it to fly with that tweak. Obviously not. So instead we're going to use this thing as... We're going to use it as a rover. Well, you've seen what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and recover this. If we desperately need a little bit more science, we can do this again. But for right now, I think we just got 24. So that's fine. No, we got 7.5. The thing we are looking for right now in particular, we badly need the Orbital Science Lab. And that is, oh my god, that is in the 550 tier. It will be ages before we get that. But we can at least go ahead and pick up these. But instead what we're going to do is we're going to start working towards getting more sciencey stuff and making it deployable. Now, looking at what we got here, we do have a contract to land on Minimus, rendezvous 2 vessels in orbit of Minimus, and return to Kerbal from a flyby of Minimus. And get green sandstone from Minimus. most importantly, we have a contract to rescue folks from the orbit of the moon. So we're going to go ahead and queue up the ship that we took Val and Jeb up to the moon in last time. Rescue folks, please. But that should give us the delta V that we need to get outbound. If it doesn't kill our... Well, we don't have a crew coming up here, but this is going to be probe controlled. Speaking of, Jeb, get out the seat. This is absolutely dumb, but it's what we have the technology to do. Keep experiment. Bag the experiment. Keep experiment. Bag the experiment. Queue that up to be used. Observe mystery goo. Have we got this one? We've got this one. All right. This is as ready as we ever get. And we're flying or not in 3, 2, 1, fire. Yeah, this is not a happy ship. This is really not a happy ship. This is an extremely unhappy ship. It's absolutely unsteerable. Okay. Those extra boosters were completely wasted with that flip. The probe core and the experiment box up top are making this thing too aerodynamically fucked. Okay, we have an apoapsis that is just barely in space now. That's the good news. Unfortunately, I honestly don't think we're going to have the Delta V to even get out to the moon, much less do anything while we're there. So this just became a very expensive science flight only. And now we're pulling over 4 Gs. Bless Christ. Yeah, we barely have enough possibly for a flyby of the moon, but this isn't going to rescue anybody. It's a good thing this thing did foobar, because I just noticed another design flaw. No antenna. We take this out of low Kerbal orbit, it's a dead ship. So, under the circumstances, pretty much the only thing that we can do with this is deorbit it, try to get it down on land, and dip whatever little science we can out of that. Nice big continent for us to fall down onto. Fine by me. Not enough drag. I should have just gone ahead and committed for a direct re-entry rather than an atmospheric pass. I think we are going to be overshooting this continent. Descent's going vertical. Just a little bit short. I am trying to keep this thing level, get as much lifting body effect as possible to carry us over that land even a little bit. Maybe. Running out of altitude. This is as good as we're gonna get. Maybe I've just about done it. We got extremely lucky if we do come down on this. Still plenty of electric charge in the batteries, so we can use the reaction wheels to get level. There we go. Set it down nice and easy. All right. Log pressure data. Keep. It's Kerbal shores, which means the seismometer is the only thing that might be even remotely new. All right, recover vessel. That was really expensive science, so I hope it was a good bit. 21.9, not great. And I can't get landing legs until I get flight control, so let's go ahead and bag that. Alright. This is a lot shorter, but if anything, it's a lot uglier. Of course, the aerodynamics of the nose are still bad, so we're not going to pitch down the ball on this one. We're going to go straight up for a good long time. And we're going to do that in 3, 2, 1, fire. Still wobbly as shit. I've been spending the past month with most of my time and mental energy devoted to making it work. Oh shit. Here we go again. We didn't get up far enough fast enough. Shit. Well, so much for not using up all our Delta V, huh? Fighting this every fucking step of the way. And I'm about to lose a hell of a lot of my control authority. And yet, actually, that's smoothed things out a lot. Not that it's going to save this mission at this point, but we'll keep trying. Now here comes the sketchiest part of this whole damn flight. Dumping these boosters without taking out our main engine. There. That at least worked. We might actually have enough juice to get this thing up to the moon. Alright, get us orbital, and then we can take stock and see what we have left. Okay. We have 1,299 meters per second, which is probably not quite enough for moon orbit and return. But we can at least get this out to the moon. We can run the twitch test, and we can put this thing on the free return trajectory to get us back. And so we just went from being fairly flush with money to having thrown away about 130 grand on 2 rockets that did not do what was intended of them. Oh, and we are going to need a lot of spare Delta V, aren't we? Oh, even better. These guys are orbiting in opposite directions from each other. That's lovely. I don't think. 856, that would leave us about 400 meters per second for everything, and I don't think that's enough. But we will get the test the Twitch engine contract cleared. And we will get the science that I wanted out of the Science Juniors. It'll just have been ungodly expensive to do. This is one ugly kludge of a ship, and no mistake. Okay, that is a free return trajectory. If we burn nothing else, we pretty much scrape the surface of the moon and come back home safe. Now, if we went orbital on this trajectory to get this guy who's out here, Seagull, we would have to burn up more than half our remaining fuel just to begin getting the right orbit, and then there would be more maneuvers. That's not feasible. So no orbit for this flight for the moon. but we do have to be in an orbit of some kind, don't we? So we will have to burn a little fuel to get this twitch test off. Which means leaving the free return trajectory. But we're burning as little as humanly possible. Just enough to say that we have an orbit. Oh no. Comms blackout. So, even that's being wasted. Fucking hell. Okay, how much fuel will it cost now to get an orbit? Nearly half. We're not going to do it. We're just going to bring the fucker home, cache our science, and build a third, slimmer, shorter rocket. Yeah, we are definitely going to be cooking on this pass. And we may skip off and have to come around again. We've already passed Periapsis, by the way. And we're also passing the KSC right there under us. We didn't actually get that much braking out of that pass. But I wanted to make sure we would survive that pass above all else. So coming around again. Okay, we've shaved about 20 minutes off our orbital period, which is not that much in terms of altitude. But it looks like we're going to take 2, maybe 3 more passes to get this thing down. Keeping it very... Well, I maximize the drag by having the thing tilted into the wind. Okay, our apoapsis has dropped from the 900s or so down to below 700. We are getting closer to a final descent. Very cautiously whittling off velocity with this heavy-ass vehicle. That nose cone is acting like a drogue chute a bit, which is why it's glowing when everything else wasn't. Alright, periapsis in 10 seconds. And it's almost certainly going to take at least one more pass to get us down and safe. To get the science down and safe, which is the only reason I'm bothering with any of this crap. If it wasn't for the fact that I need to have this science down to justify the expense, I would have put this thing in orbit of the moon as a communications relay satellite. And the nose cone is getting nice and toasty again. As is the probe core because of contact. Yeah, I think this bird is coming down at last. Keep dragging our heels as we're going up. Slapping on the brakes with what little air resistance there is up here. Okay, apoapsis is 72.75 kilometers, periapsis 28.3. Whatever else happens, we're coming down now. This is the final pass. And after this oh so thrilling aerobraking maneuver series, we are finally coming down. Where are we coming down at? We are coming down in this sea over here, it looks like. not all that far from the Kerbal Space Center. Find us some flat sand to land on. That's got us to safety. There we go. All right. And I spent over 60,000 Kerbucks to get how much science from that flight? 38.1. Which, to be fair, is enough to give us landing legs. Which is absolutely vital for where we're going next. First key, these have now been thoroughly used and they can go away. All right. The least ridiculous of the launches tonight, the last of our launches tonight, and it is flying, I hope, in 3, 2, 1, fire. Oh, and now we got very flexy and wobbly. Here we go again. We are on the verge of causing calamitous damage to our lower stages, unfortunately. But there we go. What did we lose? We lost a fin. Okay, if that's all we lose, we're okay. Ironically, without the fin, we're flying a ton better. He said, and made the mistake of throttling up to full. Damn it. All right, just settled in. I'll just take what I can get as long as it gets up. Okay, we're not quite out of atmosphere, but I need to get in the aerodynamic bubble here for this. There. Okay, this time we will have more than enough delta V, or so it looks like, for operations around the moon. We're not going to be able to get both of these guys after all, since they're counter-orbiting. One's retrograde and considerably skewed. But we will get one of them down. Problem is, once again, we're going to have a maneuver node during communications blackout. That doesn't kill us entirely, but it does make things inconvenient. Yeah, one is definitely all we can get on this pass, but one should be sufficient. Meantime, though, let's just go ahead and get on the marker for this. We're about to lose comms, though. I don't know if that's going to interfere with the test or not. There they go. Okay, we did not get the burn we wanted, and a correction will be necessary. It's almost useful. There we go. That is a rescue intercept achieved. All right. Now a little bit of time warp to get up to the test altitude to clear that contract once and for all. Got it. And that actually, that one test by itself paid for this rocket. It didn't pay for the other two, but it paid for this one. Okay. And that gave us an intercept of 1.5 kilometers, which is good enough for this. Okay, and there's our target up there, Lemsey's shipwreck. There's a pretty sizable difference in velocity. It's going faster than us. But it's well within the range of the EVA jetpacks. Okay, and here's Lemsey. Lemsey is an engineer. I did the math in my head. We simply do not have the delta V remaining to reverse our orbit and dip down into a low moon orbit to rescue the other guy and then get back home. Up, up, up. There we go. Good boy. So we are just going to be leaving now. Burning like hell. We got places to be, and the moon ain't one of them. All right, coming down at a periapsis of 47, which is still going to be a long, slow descent, considering our velocity as we're coming in, that's no bad thing. 40 seconds to periapsis. There goes the KSC. I'm being cautious with this thing because this is really just thrown together. It was this cockpit, all this stuff was never intended to be used in this way. But that's the power and the glory of Kerbal Space Program. Okay, apoapsis is at 900 kilometers. We're going to take at least one more pass to come down. Let's get this thing down. 1 minute 40 seconds to periapsis on this pass. Lemsey's having the time of his life. Hey, I get to fly a ship. No, you don't. You're an engineer. You're useless at flying crap. You just sit there and keep your hands off the controls while the computer does the work. Okay, apoapsis is about to hit 200 and falling. I am not altogether certain that we're going to be able to get it below 70 before we leave atmosphere. So fast forwarding to get us out of Atmo and prepare for what will definitely be the final pass. I wanted to splash down to get that decoupler contract. Doesn't look like we're going to get that though. because we're coming up on the Crater Bay Mountains. Crater Rim, I mean. Either way, bad news. But under the circumstances, since we're not going to be able to get short enough to hit the water, I want to go long enough to get past these mountains. Periapsis just dropped below 25 kilometers. Apoapsis at 80 kilometers. So the test that we had that requires a splashdown is not going to happen. Unfortunately, for some reason, this thing is not aerodynamically stable. Gee, I wonder why. And Limsey is coming home. Not the loveliest terrain we could have had. But it is safe ground with a breathable atmosphere. That's the important thing. Okay, Siglo Scrap orbiting the moon in a prograde orbit. Okay, very low. And Lager Bears orbiting Kerbal at a really wonky attitude. So yeah, getting both of these on one launch is probably not going to happen. Okay, small radial engine. That, I think, is you. Grade 3C, Moon-a-Roonie 4. So who have we got who is a pilot and has not flown to the moon yet? Go away, Jeb. Okay, Val has apparently also gone to the moon. We only have one other pilot at the moment, and that's Kerbal. So he's going to go. And it's a pretty bad boy, too. Pretty bad indeed. We're actually at a pretty good launch point now, aren't we? Not great, but we'll see. We have to fly south of due east. That's going to be over here on the 225. And we're flying in 3, 2, 1, fire. Thank you. And I'd forgotten just how little TWR this thing has. No, wrong way. It's the 135. Whole prograde, we're about to stage. There we go. Uh-oh. Okay. Got it under control, but that's really not good. That's burning up a lot of Delta V we don't have to spare. Yeah, this is not going well at all. Okay. Lower stages, thankfully, are about to burn out. And the staging is fucked. That's part of the problem there. Oh, we're actually... Wow. We're actually almost to space. Okay, somehow or other we got it up that far. We're still not in great shape at all for fuel, though. Yeah, this is going to be tricky. Okay, we are orbital. So there's a beginning. Not a good one, though. That's about as good as I think I can do with it. We'll get another correction burn later on. Yeah, we are not going to have much fuel. We wouldn't have had enough fuel left to get to the moon anyway after this. Yeah. Okay, reactivate these engines. Okay, now the annoying thing is we're going to be running away from them at this rate. So I'm actually going to want to go ahead and get a prograde and boost up a little bit higher yet. All right. So we've actually got a fairly close intersect and a reasonable relative speed now. We'll have to whittle this down a little bit, and then we can make Lagerbear here go chase the space bus. Good. 0.6 kilometers, 22.6 meters per second. That is perfectly fine. That's all we need. And in fact, there is Lagerbear's wreckage coming into range right now. And Lagerbear is a scientist, and he is a she, which is perfectly fine. Let's find the damn... Where's your ride home, damn it? Thank you. Alright, a little bit of time warp now. Better. Okay, we want this cockpit back here. I do believe. Yeah, there's rungs there. There's also a big-ass antenna there. All right, she's in. And now we go up to our highest point, our apoapsis, and we burn for home because we've got quite a high orbit here and some quite weak engines to get down by. Yeah, that periapsis is just crawling down. Okay, periapsis of about 35 kilometers, well down into the atmosphere. We're good to come home. There we go. Huh. Okay, part of the flip-flop is I'm still using the tiny decouplers there. I need to see if I've got enough money and science to get up to a proper size on that before we go on to Minmus. Where are we coming in at would be a non-academic question. Okay, if we can get out here, it's all water past that point. That is kind of a big if, though. Okay, we've got heat issues. And a lot of them. In particular, this rear cockpit is not happy about coming down this fast. Like a bear, you enjoying your sauna back there? That's good. Yeah, you're going to be losing a few pounds. Whether you planned on it or not. Come to the place where the tropical breezes flow. And meanwhile, this is not a view that anybody would be happy to see. Looking up at the ground is never a good... Wow. And of course, having your cockpit be full of scratches and cracks, that's worse. And yep, nothing but water below us. Very nice. And here we go. And we got the decoupler test done. Very nice. Recover vessel. Rescue Gildas from orbit of the moon. We're going to take that one. Okay, they are widely separated and not quite coplanar, but they are at least orbiting in the same direction. So this is doable. This is still very doable. Provided, of course, that I fly this rocket properly this time. And this goes here. And TWR is not great, but it'll be more stable than what we had before, and less likely to burn itself up, which is the main thing I'm concerned about. Well, no, it's not the main thing. The main thing is getting a... shit. Yeah. Let's save that for the moment. We'll come back to it. Have we got enough stuff to get the TD12 decoupler in hand or not? Research 20, we are science short. We can't get it yet. When I call this super hard mode, I meant it. Alright, so, like it or lump it, this is going to have to do because I don't have any better stuff. And I can't get better stuff. So, let's go to the moon. Oh, right, unable to launch. Let's go to the moon after we get rid of a little bit of... Uh-oh. That's a problem. Since I completed the contract that gave us the TD-38 for testing, yeah, that is a real problem. I can't even launch that vessel now because it's the same group of science that I need to get the TD-12 decoupler from. So I need to scrounge 2.8 science from somewhere, and I think I've already science mined the KSC out. But I don't think we've got a choice but to try to find some more somewhere. This thing as a plane is an absolute failure. It don't fly for shit. But as a jet-powered cart, it is just barely serviceable. Or I could ditch the jets entirely, and the wings, and all the other heavy shit, and we can now go science mining some more around the KSC in moderate safety. Screw flying, we just want science. Cool, just get on with it. That's a lot of stuff we got for tiny trickles of science. Crew report, already had. All right, let's recover this. And that bit of science mining has yielded us a grand total of 30 science, which is not only enough to get basic construction and get these decouplers, it opens up the possibility of maybe one other not in this tier. Unfortunately, there is only one other in this tier, which is helicopter parts, basically. Not interested right now. Okay, TD12 decoupler. Buy that. And this will take some of the floppiness out of the ship. Make sure there's nobody sitting in this cockpit. Jeb. And let's launch this with the probe core. That's close enough to circular. Right, and we've got enough delta V in this thing to get to moon space, maybe into lunar orbit. I am not 100% sure that the final stage is going to have enough grunt for our orbital adjustments to get to both our rescuees, though. And reduce the burn, because I want to save every bit of delta V that I can. Alright, focus view. We're going to go for the outer one first. Yeah, we're just going to have to do an inclination change burn, I think, when we get out there. But that's close enough. We're not going to get a perfect burn anyway. Alright, let's get this ugly bird to its translunar injection burn. And damn near perfect. Very good. Alrighty. That's us there. And this is Gildas, the first guy we're going to try to rescue. After that, we're going to have to dip way down low to get Siglo. And I'm a little bit concerned about that. Okay, we are about to lose these last boosters here. So go. And also, oh, you know, I completely forgot to open these antennas. There we go. We just barely had a signal back to Kerbal, and that would have been a bad thing if we'd lost signal completely before we got orbit of the moon. Alright, orbital insertion burn. Okay, 1.2 kilometers. If I get that burn in, that will be fine. Overcooked it. Which actually improved it. 0.4 separation. That will do wonderfully. And Gildas is aboard. As we come here to the higher node for inclination, we change inclination out here because it'll be cheaper, less delta V required to do it. And then we can burn until we get down to, oh boy, periapsis 11.6 kilometers. That's pretty damn low. I'm being as stingy as possible with the fuel at this point. Want to make sure we get these guys home because we have no option for rescue. Okay. Limited crew control, that's fine. At least we have a crew that can control. We probably won't be able to get rid of the maneuver node until we get down, though. Oh, look! It's a moon. Alright, and there is our target right there. We're going to want to get Siglo out as swiftly as possible and get her moving as quickly as possible as the ship passes her by. She's going to have to catch up to it, no question. But I see no reason to bring this ship down any lower than this if we don't have to spend the Delta V. Good girl. All right, 2 crew, all safe. Peak heating is going to be a concern, so I'm keeping the periapsis a bit on the high side. And we'll be landing on you someday in the not-too-distant future, Moon, but in the meantime, goodbye! Trying to use all the remaining Delta V in this ship to give us any bit of deceleration before we hit Atmo to reduce our peak heating. Also using it to keep our periapsis in a useful zone. Of course, it's taking its own sweet time because we got 4 ant engines doing this. And we still had quite a lot of fuel left in that last stage, apparently. So it burns, 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 that ball of fire, that ball of fire. This is doing a little bit of good as far as saving these Kerbals is concerned. And let's face facts, in the ship that's cobbled together like this out of 2 cockpits and a probe core, they need all the salvation they can find. Okay, almost out of juice in the rocket. We just used up over 700 meters per second of Delta V, but it wasn't going entirely to decelerating us in orbit. I've had to use up a pretty good bit of it to maintain our periapsis at a certain altitude. We're coming in with a periapsis estimated at 39.34 kilometers, which is slightly deeper than I wanted, but it's not terrible, I think. Anyway, one other little drawback is, since neither Siglo nor Gildas is a level 1 pilot yet, we're depending on the probe core for SAS, which means we don't have automatic retrograde hold. I'm going to have to fly this thing down pretty much manually. So here we go! There's you a little beauty shot of us entering the plasma cone. but only briefly because I need to be paying attention to my flying. This ship I do not think would center itself, by the way, although it's possible, since this nose cone at this altitude might act as a windsock to drag the nose back. And all that burning of engine did do this much good. We are not having much in the way of heat alarms. Apoapsis is 44 and falling. Our current altitude is from sea level 42.8. So yeah, we're about to go into our final descent. Siglo, what do you think about that? I think Siglo doesn't want to think about that. Okay, there's the bay I was talking about. I still think there's a good chance we're going to end up making it to that spit of land across the bay, though. We're still kind of high up and going pretty quick. Alright, we might just get water landing yet. Yeah, we are passing over the last bit of land. Yeah, we're going to get a splashdown. And we've got green light on the parachutes. Let's wait. Okay, and G-forces are down to 1G. So let's pop them. 2 Kerbals rescued from lunar orbit. Big paycheck and 2 more crew members for future use. I call that a very successful first half of the stream. And let's just enjoy this beautiful moment of splashdown, shall we? And now let's have a quick look at the astronaut complex. We now have 12 Kerbals, including 4 pilots, available for various missions. And not only did they not cost us a penny, we actually got a nice chunk of profit off of that.